Hi, it's John and welcome to the channel 5:45 a.m. It is Victoria Day. Happy Victoria Day, the 19th of May. Hope you have the day off today. I've got my big blue mug of coffee and you clicked on this video because the title or the thumbnail for the video says something like Canada is mediocre or stop accepting mediocrity, Canadians, something like that. Haven't decided yet. That comes after I finish the video. It's weird where I get inspiration for these videos in the morning. I actually thought about getting up and talking about the Liberal budget, which isn't going to happen until later in the year. And I thought that's going to be a pretty short video today. And then while I was making coffee for the big blue mug, I clicked on a video from the Unacceptable Fringe, who just passed 100,000 subscribers. So congratulations. And I agree with the guy in pretty much everything. But he said something today I vehemently disagree with because Canada is mediocre. You see, I'm an Albertan. I identify as an Albertan, not as a Canadian. As an Albertan, I do not want to be mediocre anymore. But Canadians accept mediocrity, and I'm going to prove it to you in just a moment, but this is what the Fringe said on his video that I watched this morning.
Keep in mind that we're talking about a budgetary deficit that Mark Carney predicted before running for prime minister. It was on his election platform that there are plans to be another $300 billion deficit in the next 4 years. All of this comes on the surprising loom that, surprise, surprise, Mark Carney doesn't want to have a budget this year. It's no, just let me spend. It's okay. We don't need a budget, right? Because if they were actually to disclose what the budget would be, Canadians, as that article warns, would revolt.
Just before I move on, I just wanted to state I normally don't have glitter all over my face. You probably saw it. I watched the first clip back. It was my wife's birthday yesterday, and I had to wrap up a present for her with that paper, and I've got it all over me. I can't get rid of the stuff. So I don't normally put glitter on first thing in the morning. So question, do you accept what the Fringe said there regarding Canadians revolting if they saw the budget? I vehemently disagree with that. Here's the article that he's referring to. This is written by Tristan Hopper. You may have seen this. This is written back on March 20th. Prior to the election, over a month before the election, secret RCMP report warns Canadians may revolt once they realize how broke they are. I think a lot of you realize how broke you are, how broke the country is. And you didn't accept the mediocrity when you voted on April the 28th. You voted for the other guy. You didn't accept the mediocrity. You didn't want to perpetuate the mediocrity. You didn't want to normalize the mediocrity, but more Canadians did, and you got more mediocrity from the Liberal Party after 10 years of mediocrity. And I started thinking about other things where Canadians are mediocre, and we accept it. And I've always said this since the day I started in the radio business, the first day I ever put a record on a turntable back in 1986-87, I had to play CanCon. Canadian content, mandated by the government. At the time it was 30%. I don't know if that's changed. It's been a long time since I've been a radio disc jockey, but it was 30% at the time. And CanCon always said this perpetuates mediocrity because you didn't have to be good to be on the radio. You only had to be Canadian. The cream rose to the top. Shania Twain, Bryan Adams, Tragically Hip, Rush, lots of Guess Who, lots of different bands were great. They got played all over the world. But a lot of bands could just be mediocre to get on the radio, so they never had to raise the game. It's the same thing with television. Mandated to have certain amount of Canadian content on stations in Canada. You're going to get more of it. I think this was just in yesterday's video. Stephen Guilbeault is now in charge of the internet. More Canadian content forced down your throat. Not only that, you're probably going to pay more for it. And it's mediocre. There's a reason why you watch American television programs more than Canadian, because it's better. The United States doesn't accept mediocrity. And Canadians are self-righteous. We think we're better than the United States, but we're not. Wages higher generally in the United States. Taxes are lower. Housing prices are lower in the United States. Weather is better in a lot of the United States. You can defend yourself in the United States. You have a right to private property in the United States. But Canadians think we're better. We're like Americans, but we're better. No, I don't believe that. We accept the mediocre. Other places, gas prices. You accept the fact that gas prices are high here now. I remember when gas prices dropped in Calgary a few years ago below $1 a liter. And people said, isn't this great? I said, yeah, don't accept it going back up to $1.20, $1.30, because this is where it should be. But we accept the mediocrity and normalize it. Immigration's another one. You're told that we need immigrants in this country. I agree we should have a certain amount of immigrants, but the right ones to come here and help the country. Don't flood the country so it drives up prices, drives up housing prices, eliminates your choice for housing prices, rent prices go up, it makes things worse, but you accept it. It's a mediocre way of doing things, and that's what the Liberals have done to you. Healthcare is a big one. Our healthcare is so much better than the United States. Well, is it? We don't have to pay for it. No, you pay dearly for your health care. If you were able to buy your own health care plan, you could get something that was tailor-made for you. Best health care I have ever had in Canada was in Ottawa. It was a private clinic. Far superior to the care I got when I went to the hospital. I mentioned just a week ago, had to go to the emergency room with my wife. My wife has had cancer. We were concerned. After 2 hours of waiting in an emergency room, they came out and told us there was a 10-hour wait. There were people sitting there that looked like they were having heart attacks, that couldn't get in to see a doctor because there were so many people stacked up in the emergency room. Your health care is not free. It's very expensive. We should be given some choice here. Food prices. Food prices are going up, folks. I think the Liberals are going to actually enjoy the food prices going up. They don't seem to be thinking too much about doing anything about it. Mark Carney's in Rome, hanging out with the Pope, with a whole bunch of people on your tax dollars. You can't afford to buy food, and they're going up again. But they're going to be happy when the prices go up because they'll probably start coming down again, and you're going to have to be grateful to Mark Carney and the Liberals for bringing the food prices down to where they are right now, which is unacceptable, which is mediocre. But that's what you do as a Canadian. Carbon pricing, carbon taxes. Mark Carney, oh, look what I did. I got rid of the carbon tax. After years of accepting the carbon tax, of accepting mediocrity, of accepting the word of the Liberal Party, they were doing something for the environment, they kill the tax, and you're supposed to be grateful to the Liberal Party and Mark Carney for getting rid of it after causing so much strife and costing you so much money over the years. Poilievre never took credit for that. He should have axed the tax. Budget. A couple of years ago, didn't have a budget for, I don't know, was it a year and a half during COVID? They just used that as an excuse. You're now accepting the mediocre. You should have had a budget right now. Haven't had one since last April. You're going to wait to the end of the year. But you're accepting the mediocre from the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party as well is on my list. This is a mediocre party. 10 years of mediocrity. You, if you voted for them, accepted this. Canada is a mediocre country. Accepting it, perpetuating it, normalizing it. And the budget is just the latest thing that makes me feel that way. And there's probably a lot more. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear in the comments. I don't always check all the comments. I apologize for that. And I also, before I move on, I'd like to thank you if you gave me a super chat or whatever. Some people have sent me a few bucks here and there. I appreciate that. It's not something you have to do, but I do appreciate it. So thank you very much for that. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next one.